Oh, it's gonna end next season. They're gonna do one more season.
How many seasons have you seen of Drag Race?
I've never seen one. Why are you trying to get me
you just
on?
watch
Right
random,
when we go live, you try to get me
random
on some
episodes?
crazy shit. This episode is brought to you by Excalibur, by Heaven's Pantry, with 6 simple ingredients: dates, cashews, almonds, cocoa powder, coconut oil, and sea salt. It is gluten-free, all-natural, and vegan, with no sugar added, no ingredients you can't pronounce. This Dutch processed cocoa powder gives the Excalibur a unique, rich chocolate flavor. So unique, children of all ages will be addicted. Take my word for it.
Including him.
Yeah, take his word for it, not the person's word that gave him that word. That's how you know you can't trust this man. He's seen more than 2 episodes of Drag Race, I promise.
I've never seen one.
He loves a good chocolate moment.
Welcome to Talking Junk. Ooh, excuse me. We're on the break room tonight.
Yeah, take a break.
Montauk
Grab a
Project.
Kit
Stay
Kat,
tuned.
take a break in the break room.
RuPaul's break room.
Talking Junk Network,
where entertainment lives.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to
Your favorite rapper's favorite podcast.
See, this is why I like your show. You guys charismatic. You know the right things to say.
Speaking of the right things to say, this man fucking burned you at the end there. That was fucking hilarious. RuPaul's break room. Very good. Very good.
Welcome to Talking Junk Network's The Break Room, not RuPaul's The Break Room, all right? Welcome to The Break Room, the podcast that comes to you live every Saturday night from YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. The gang's all here. We got a new addition with us, Darby, our resident researcher. How's everybody doing tonight?
Not too bad. I think I want to shout out to Darby here because this is his first show, but he's already kind of showing that he's going to be our resident Jamie. So if you're familiar with Joe Rogan's podcast and Jamie, I think we're going to be having our own fucking savant of research here as the time goes on.
I'm the monkey on the typewriter in the corner.
Right? He's like 1,000 monkeys, and we know one of those monkeys are going to write up something fucking great. And it's nice to know.
I'm doing pretty good myself. I got my girlfriend over. She's come all the way down from Alaska. She comes all the way down to see me. I end up sitting here while she's sleeping doing a podcast. So
that is a far-ass booty call, guy.
It is.
Did she write a moose?
Get your hands off my Excalibur.
Just straight up taking pieces,
How
bro.
dare you?
Like a seagull.
Like, didn't y'all get a case? You can't get your own bars?
I don't want
She has her own bars
just like a
her.
woman. She has a perfectly good bar. She's like, I'm going to still eat his. Unbelievable.
They got the whole family living on Excaliburs.
Right? But if he wants some of hers, he got to ask.
Right, right.
At least you know.
Dre, Migs, how y'all doing?
Doing good. Just completed another work week. We're here for another episode. Moving forward, man.
Makes you look uncomfortable.
Give me $1.
That's when I know you're online. You make me uncomfortable, but with family, so I can't. Oh, that's
Got off work, slammed down a burger and 8 bites. Feeling good.
Right?
8 bites is a record for him. That's too long. It usually takes them just a few short bites.
Couple breaths.
Like a wolf.
Inhales that shit.
Danger zone. That the danger zone is when you don't chew correctly. Make sure you chew your food.
Who needs a soundboard when we got like sound effects right here? That was Vincent chewing noise.
Yeah.
Yo, Tyler, why don't you tell us what your friend reviewed these? How your friend reviewed these?
Well, I had a friend of mine who watches the show. I'm not sure if they're watching right now, but if so, shout out to you. Also, shout out to the fellow junkers. But they bought a box and they brought them in, and they've been enjoying them themselves. Their family has kind of grabbed a couple, and also they gave some to their toddler, which seems to rather enjoy them and has asked for them. So they're not only good for you, but they're toddler approved. So if you need a snack and your toddler needs a snack, split a bar, give them some, give yourself some, get a little energy. They may not need the energy, but you know what? They're getting a little bit of nutrition, chewing on something good, as opposed to all this processed shit that's difficult to get away from.
And the term energy bar you could use really loosely with this because it's talking about natural energy from the nuts that are in it. So,
right, it's not like if you're giving yourself a Bang energy bar or something like that, or a Monster energy bar. It's not going to be shit like that. You're not getting any bull semen extract in this bar. As you see in our adverts, there's only 6 ingredients. They're all natural, and it's all natural things you're getting. So it might be stuff that you're like, I don't know. At least you know it's a natural intake that you're getting, and your body can process what it's getting, as opposed to it being some foreign synthetic bullshit.
Right.
Right.
Also, it's at a great price, and an even better price if you use our code. So definitely check them out. If you're not sure what that code is, stay tuned. We'll pop it back up again for you.
Oh, it's right here, down at the bottom. HP Street for 20% off your first order. Talk Junk 69 for 10% off every order after. Right there at the bottom.
And there you go. You don't even have to pay full price, and that's the best price.
Buy a crate. Buy 2 crates.
Buy all of it, honestly.
Buy a
Don't
whole
even
pallet.
like stop at 2 crates. Like, buy fucking all of the stock and just hand it out.
And if you guys own your own stores, you can definitely order to sell them in-house.
Start an Excalibur store.
That's right. You can even drop ship them. I know you Amazon drop shippers out there. It's on Amazon. Add that to your shit. Help some people out. You know you can do
$2 a
it.
bar. Why not?
At $2 a bar for an all natural shit. I know we're supposed to be talking about Stranger Things, but what's stranger than
We're not talking about Stranger Things.
Whatever. Well, we're talking about strange things.
You're stalking strange things.
Yeah. You're strange. Are you
I may have some.
I actually tried one of the Excaliburs, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any myself, but honestly, I might buy a box, and I know Jason's going to hook us up so he can try them out. When he does, I'm definitely going to bring him to work and share them at work. Definitely check them out. It's definitely worth it. We're not going to bullshit y'all with what we're going to sell to y'all, but we will bullshit on here. Stay tuned.
And you viewers could win a box too. Just take a clip of your favorite Talking Junk episode, stitch it into a TikTok, and tag us on it. The best one will win their own 12-piece box of Excaliburs, shipped to you straight from us.
Don't think we do drop shipping now.
All right, well, we don't do drop shipping, but still, check the shit out.
Definitely check.
It's like a healthy brownie. What else do you want?
Eat it with a fucking glass of milk or a good cup of coffee in the morning.
Right. Have it at night with some vanilla ice cream. Like, do what you want.
Right.
You don't have to eat it like it's healthy.
You could taste it with coconut almond milk.
You know what I was actually thinking? You could probably take it, put it into like a blender with some oatmeal milk, and then it probably would taste pretty good. Like
right?
Kind of milkshake.
There you go. Don't be unilateral with your thinking. Take your food, be creative, eat it how you want to eat it. But if it's weird, keep it to yourself.
Yeah, let's go. Excalibur shake.
Excalibur shake sounds great.
It does.
If you like roll it really
Stick it in the blender
and
with your
put like
protein
meat
shake.
and cheese in there, like we don't want to know about that.
I don't know about that.
Exactly. Like we don't want to
That's
know
weird.
about that. But do you? Just do you quietly.
What are you drinking in the tequila glass, Jay?
What was that?
What are you drinking in the martini glass, Jay?
I'm drinking. I mixed a little bit of apple rum with some grenadine and juice, and I splashed some hypnotic in there. So a little hypnotic cocktail.
How fitting. Hypnotic, huh?
Isn't hypnotic for the bitches?
Look who we're talking about. I mean, look who we're
listen, all right? I don't know where that fine print is on this bottle.
Okay. Notice you said fine print for a reason.
Yeah, but notice how
He's the only one who has of it to make the drink for. So yes.
You have Malibu rum too?
Yes.
No, we drank that.
Okay. So you did though.
Yeah, we did. It's a good mixer.
Okay. I was just asking.
You're a bitch.
Whoa! I was just inquiring about what type of alcohol you had. That's all.
Fuck you.
All right, gay ass nigga. Fuck.
Seems like we got two people drinking rum here.
Snitchy bitches.
Feels like we're on a pirate ship with all the rum here.
Yeah, right? Why is it done? Because this man Jason is always making a fruity fucking cocktail, and I can't ever have some Easter rum.
I got me hypnotic.
It's pretty fucking good though.
Hey, you know what? A lot of the quote unquote bitch drinks be tasting good, so I'm just fucking with you, bro.
I still got to go back in the archives and figure out what the fucking drink was that tastes like pure mango. I need to bring that one back.
Yeah, yo, my dad has been watching us, and he didn't realize that he wasn't watching up-to-date episodes. He was just seeing like recent uploads. So he's watching one from us like a year ago. He's like, "Yeah, I'm watching a new episode." I'm like, "Nah, bro, look, I'm in the hospital. That's real old." But my parents are regular watchers, so shout out to y'all. Thank you for watching.
Mr. and Mrs. Bundy, thank you very much. Well, we hope you like the rambling episode we're going to do today about the Montauk Project, which was the Stranger Things was loosely based on it. Loosely based on it. Our resident egghead gave Mr. Bane no arms over there, Jack Blacker, some notes. So let's see.
Yeah, like 7 names.
Give me $1.
I think you're muted. I can't hear you.
No, we can't hear you.
The only things they really share with each other is mostly the interdimensional aspect and portals, really.
What was that? I could barely hear you, Darby.
I said loosely based is a pretty correct term for it. It's the only thing that Stranger Things and the Montauk Project really have in common with each other is the extra dimensional aspects of it and the portals that were supposedly created there.
Well, can't wait to break it down.
But anyway, you're willing to start. I don't know if you want me to go ahead with it or not.
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you go ahead?
All right, sounds good. Sounds good to me. A lot of the things that we know on Montauk and the Air Force Base specifically are only from a few compilations of historical books based around NORAD bases, which were Cold War era series of military bases dedicated to surveillance around the entire North Atlantic coast. Camp Hero, to get familiar with the history of it, as it's known today, was originally a fort just south of a lighthouse on Long Island. And checking my notes here. It was originally disguised as a fishing settlement, disguising 12 naval batteries and a military installation on the tip of Long Island. It was deemed a strategic move, being a midway between two large American cities. And in 1948, a radar installation, which is what is infamously the picturesque idea or image of it when you think of it as the radar station that's there, was built in 1948. And established as the main part of it, the base in the 50s, where it was redesignated as what we know now as Montauk Air Force Base. The rest of the installation in the site was closed down and gifted to New York State, but the Montauk Air Force Base itself, the radar installation, stayed active until about the 80s. And to this day, parts of it are still inaccessible in direct violation of New York Park Charter. That's just an intro for now.
Now there's a lot of shit surrounding the Montauk experiments, but one of the things that seem to be linked to it, and I'm sure we'll cover one day because we like a lot of this crazy obscure conspiracies. The Philadelphia experiment. Any heard of that?
Yeah, the Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah.
There's actually no naval records on the Philadelphia experiment itself, but the Navy was experimenting heavily with stealth technology back in the 40s. And one of the foundations of that was taking the ships and applying certain coatings, and specifically after the war, enlisting the help of scientists from Germany that were captured after the fall into specific projects dedicated to stealth programs that were dealing specifically with bypassing radar. One of the ways that they suggested by doing this was trying to find novel ways of either teleporting the ship or specifically experimenting with radar frequencies that can move matter in specific directions.
Right. Apparently they did a little demonstration and blinked in and out of reality. And when they blinked back into it, there were bodies fused to the hull.
There's bodies fused to the hull, and there's actually accounts of people who did survive it, but the people that were there who were survived, their minds were completely wiped from the entire situation that occurred. Mostly they had no idea of it, and the Army, or at the time the Navy too, was taking those people and putting them into medical camps where a lot of expunged records from that have never been found.
Right. Well, but according to popular legend, in 1943, the U.S. Navy undertook the secret experiments based out of the port of Philadelphia. The experiments were designed to put Einstein's unified field theory to practical use by making a naval ship invisible. While conspiracy theorists debate the existence of the Philadelphia experiment, one alleged survivor of the scientific outing, Al Bielek, maintained that the Navy's purpose was entirely different. According to Bielek, the true purpose of the Philadelphia experiment wasn't invisibility, it was time travel. In 1990, Bielek claimed that he spent time in two separate periods of the future, two separate time periods of the future, only to return to present day and tell the story. And that was just the beginning of the fantastic revelations of this totally, completely, absolutely 100% not fake time traveler, as if someone would make it up anyway. Anywho, when he said when him and one other person, when it blinked out of time, they jumped off the boat. So when they jumped off the boat, they got trapped, I guess, in a time field and ended up in from the 40s to the 80s and stood there like they were fucking Captain America. Oh shit. It says in later years, Eldridge would become famous for supposedly harboring the Philadelphia experiment. One day in August 43, to be exact, Bielek and his brother were subject to some of odd happenings aboard the ship. They jumped safely, only to land in the year 2137. While in 2137, Bielek was treated for radiation injuries through a highly advanced series of treatments that relied on vibration and light. What's more, the experiment in the hospital was solely educational and news programming, the only choice of TV in the world. I didn't hear about that one. The United States was a relic, he said. But let's go back to the Montauk Project, because unfortunately, like a dickhead, I forgot to write down.
Good. I mean, 100 years from now, I wouldn't be surprised if America is a relic, you know?
Oh, it's already a relic.
I mean, if people don't start paying attention, it won't be even that long. Exactly. The door is going to close on this country.
But one of the, if I may go off on a small tangent, Jay, if that's all right.
You can do it, bro. Don't ever fucking ask. Go ahead.
Goddamn right. Got it. anyways, a lot of the things. I mean, all the stuff to an average person, it might sound like, oh, it sounds a bit ridiculous, and some of it we only really have alleged information. But the things that I like find interesting specifically is that a lot of the things that people talk about, I mentioned in the document that there's a labyrinthine $1 billion of money poured into CIA programs, specifically under MK Ultra, over 150 of them to be specific. And that was specifically used to try and find novel techniques of interrogation and massive troves of human experimentation with different drugs, just to attempt to break a person mentally or fracture their personality and be able to direct or influence the more vulnerable, broken state of a person. This is all detailed under subproject 35 specifically, and it was defined by declassified CIA documents, a cover organization for highly sensitive projects in the field of covert biological, chemical, and radiological warfare. So when you look at these things, they happen. These absurd, disgusting, sick things actually happen, and it was covered up by the government. So when we talk about things like the Montauk Project, is it really seem that ridiculous?
I don't think it seems ridiculous that we would put time, resources, and energy into it. I think what seems ridiculous to us is that they would be able to do interdimensional and time-related things, because I think still too many of the NPCs programming tells them that, well, if they figured that out, they would tell us. Even though there's problems, they're not evil. There's not a cabal against me. So if they figured it out, they would tell us if something would happen. I can trust that they would tell us, and they don't put much more thought into it. When in reality, they would never fucking tell you that. There's no reason for you to tell you that, because in the best case, humans in general do not have the emotional, mental, and physical capacity to handle knowledge that we can manipulate time, space, or dimension. People barely understand those concepts as they are, just as an idea, let alone the actual ability to do it. So if they did figure it out and they weren't being malicious, how could they even tell us? But I don't think that they're looking into these things, at least not now. Maybe back in the day they were less malicious and more curious, but I still kind of doubt it. There's no good to come from these secret-ass projects, because it's either a secret weapons program or a secret something doing something that you don't need to know about because you're not qualified. And it's like, I live here too, bitch. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Especially if you try, like, the Large Hadron Collider and shit. They're like, oh, we're just smashing like tiny particles that trying to find the Big Bang. We want to recreate the Big Bang. Bitch, if the Big Bang is real, it created the universe. Why would you recreate that? You fuck. You know what I mean? But now I'm getting on a deeper tangent that's unrelated. But it's just, you can definitely believe that they're doing these things. You just can't believe everything. You know, you have to take it with salt. And you have to be able to look at it and be like, all right, there's enough other bullshit that's been confirmed for me to believe that this unconfirmed bullshit is real, but I can't believe necessarily that the way that it's been transcribed or reported to me is exactly what's going on. Because I remember the first time I came around the Montauk, like, it was called the Montauk Project, and it was always associated with this picture of this kind of like beaver dog naked mole rat thing that washed up on the shores in New York, and people were like taking photos and be like, what the fuck is this? It washed up from the shores from Montauk.
Darby seems to think that it's a raccoon.
I do think it's
and like, there's a lot of different ideas of like, it's just a hairless this or hairless that, and that's why it looks so weird. But that was my first introduction to the Montauk projects, and at the time the idea was that the island was for something else, but they started to do something more clandestine, and they kept doing that and shut everything else down, and it's still actually in operation.
There's evidence for the clandestine operations specifically. It's one of the things I'm interested in, and I outlined it inside of the document as well. the 77th Third Radar Squadron was the only unit stationed there throughout its tenure of 1948 all the way to 1981, and remained the only unit there, and was redesignated 3 times, likely to switch up people in the base. Like, right away, that's kind of weird, especially for any sort of NORAD base. But then you look even further, and at the people and the records of the people who were stationed there in the 79th and 73rd, are what sticks out is that none of the hometowns are listed for any of them, nor any images of details. 3 people specifically are interesting alone: Zimmerman, Olsovicki, and Brown. Zimmerman being the only person there who was designated to Montauk, and despite his lower rank of just sergeant. And Olsovicki, a master sergeant from Langley Air Force Base, and Langley Air Force Base is already known to host massive amounts of intelligence activities, as well as Brown, a command sergeant assigned from the Department of Defense himself. So right there, it's already a symbol that something weird happened, because it's just Zimmerman operating an entire Cold War radar installation by himself for 20 years.
Yeah, like I feel like what probably happened there is they established what they said they were doing, because I feel like in a lot of those projects they probably did do what they say for posterity's sake and then did other shit, so that way when you ask them, they're like, "No, we did that." It's just that you don't know the things to ask them, so they don't have to say, "Yeah, we did that." And so when you keep asking the wrong things, they're like, "Nah." And then, on the off chance you do, they just shy away from it. But I would believe that, like, maybe even they had a regiment there thinking that they were doing just that. But I highly doubt that they would just keep the same regiment there, the same type of people there, because they're going to know something. That's why they're the only ones allowed to be there, because they're agreed upon, they understand their assignment, and the less rotation you have, the less risk of exposure you have. And they were probably doing that, and then as they were doing that, they were likely building things underground such that they could continue operations and shut down the flag that's above, because now, if it is still going, or back in like 2013 or whenever the hell it was that I came across it, I'm sure you're all aware of DUMBs and like deep underground bases and stuff like that, and the tunnels that run throughout the country. There's likely a tunnel that would run to whatever secret base or operation they have going there. It's not going to be in the basement. It's going to be floors down like a missile silo. It's going to be
right.
It's going to be
deep
far
underground
away, and if it's connected to something, that tunnel that is connecting to it is going to go far away, because you're not going to associate somebody in Buffalo. This is hypothetical, of course, in Buffalo, taking some sort of tunnel down over to Montauk. That's fucking ridiculous. Well, of course it is, unless you have the resources and the means of researching time and interdimensional travel. Like, that's my whole thing. Like, time and interdimensional travel. If you understand the gravitas behind that, then it's not absurd that somebody would put the resources, if they had the resources, in digging a tunnel that's hundreds of miles long to make it secret,
Well, to add on to that specifically, because it's funny that you mentioned, like, some people think DUMBs are a conspiracy, but plenty of declassified documents have detailed specifically the very existence of bases that exist 600 meters into the ground. To give you a personal experience of mine, I used to work at a place in the past, and one of the people there had intelligence experience in Arizona. He was stationed. He didn't ever get any.
Miggs is in Arizona, but he doesn't have intelligence experience or intelligent experience.
Damn.
Says the hooked on phonics kid who failed at age none.
Yeah, he was beautiful.
Was that for you, or was that for your filter?
Emotional damage.
Oh, that's cute. He's practicing.
It's for everyone.
Fuck you.
Please
I like the no hair look. He's just having foam filters.
Now he's a Totona face.
It's a chicken nugget, okay?
Really? That's
Totone's break room. Totone's break room.
What'd you say, brother?
The Tostones break room.
RuPaul's Tostones break room.
Right. We got snacks here for you.
No, but the pickup where we left off, I had a buddy who was stationed in Arizona. Like he was, I don't really talk to him anymore, but he was stationed in Arizona, and he described to me that the base that he was in, because he was his job was operating incoming and outgoing communications in the base.
There you go.
Perfect.
Yes.
And just that's his true form.
Rue J's break room.
Rue J's break room.
Hey, you still on me?
She's drawn up divorce documents now. It's this.
That's enough.
My auspicians. I'm out of here.
I'm out. I got.
That's fucked up.
What do you mean?
She's gonna go get with somebody who makes her drink water.
So if I want to dress like a dude, you'll still love me?
Nah, that was a bearded dragon.
So
you didn't answer my question. So if I dress like a dude, would you still love me?
I mean,
obviously.
Hey man, there's some guys who are into girls that dress like dudes.
Yeah, there's guys. There's those more dragons.
Snitchy bitches.
Look at this man, Jay, being rude as fuck. As this wonderful new addition was regaling us with a real life story. This man's like, look at me, I'm a super saiyan.
Look at me, I'm a fucking jerk.
You know what I'm talking about? With it.
He's doing typical Talon bullshit, but that is typical Jay.
Right, and it doesn't work for Jay because typical Jay shit involves dick and balls.
Right.
No, it does not.
You're the only one who mentioned it.
Definitely got to put it down in my notes.
Yeah, definitely put an asterisk or like an underline under that. Dick and balls.
Dick and balls. Highlight it too.
Coming to an interested Jason near you.
But no, the only thing I really had to finish off with saying is that his base was 600 meters into the ground. So think about how deep that is. It wouldn't be unreasonable for anything. It would be unreasonable for something like that under Montauk.
I mean, Americans don't really know meters, but yeah.
Right.
Let me look up a translation.
3 feet. All right, just to give you an idea, it's about
2,000 feet.
No, it's pretty far.
People are like 3,000 feet. Like, how far is that?
Hang on, let me look up how many football fields it is.
Meter system.
I saw
You said 2,000. You said 3,000 meters.
2,000 feet.
100 meters.
2,000 feet. He said.
2,000 feet. So think about how far that is. Like what? What's like 1/4 of a mile?
That's about 10 football fields down.
How long?
Lord.
How long is it? It's like you measure the measurements as you're measuring measurements.
About 200 feet.
Who said
is it like 200 cars?
That right there, that's from about right here to about way over there by the fucking Walmart.
Yeah, the Montauk Project was about 10 football fields.
Football fields underground. Like,
I tell you what. I definitely can't get there on one tank gas.
You look like you got fucked up by a gator. All that's left of you is your bottom jaw, the worst part. Not being part of the Montauk Project.
I resent that dearly.
He
guys ever seen Boyd Got His Gun?
He looks like somebody from a Ralph Steadman painting. One of those Fear and Loathing Las Vegas paintings. He looks like one of them.
Yeah, whoever the fuck that is.
He looked like the same creepy guy you would think to see in a van, moving slowly and smiling when anyone younger than him passes by.
How many fucking creepy vans you seen? Fucking
Hey, kid, I got some warheads.
He's been in a few and driven even more.
What you mean? They rented the car from you.
Experienced van driver.
Do you like sucking candy? I got sucking candy in here.
Give me $1.
So, Jason, what was like being part of that project?
I don't even think we covered what they did in that project.
Yeah, we did. We said it was like Stranger Things. I mean, what else do you need to know?
We said it was like 10 football fields.
It's 10 football fields. What else do you need to know? They had fun. They did terrible things, possibly.
I gave you $1.
What they really did was try to exploit mind control.
Exploiting mind control is the interesting part to me too, because when people, like I was saying earlier, when people think of like mind control, they think of like this cartoon-esque swirly eyes kind of like mental domination. In reality, a lot of the survivors of MK Ultra programs and the Artichoke program, like I was mentioning earlier, which are the government programs that involve that kind of thing, just mostly was traumatizing young people and prisoners of war alike, and were causing them to have a mental fracture and develop a multi-personality disorder through trauma that made them manipulatable and malleable. And a lot of the times they would use that to try and see if they can use it on prisoners. Like I was saying earlier, if you can get someone like the right-hand man of a dictator and make him hate his leader and shit, and break his mind and release him back into the same area he was, then that's a pretty good way of achieving the goal of overthrowing that dictator. Yeah, that's just an example of it.
What the fuck is wrong with this bitch?
What the fuck are you doing?
Right?
Captain Marvel came to visit.
It looks like your thing's like having it looks like it has like fucking Parkinson's, dude.
She's on fucking crack right now.
Michael J. Fox resents that. Anywho, yes, they tried to do experiments on mind control, and of course they're going to use kids and vagrants. What the fuck just happened here? Looks like
we're back to RuPaul.
But I guess the reason why they would probably use a child or a younger mindset is because it's still under the developing stages. So the more it's developing under what you're feeding it, it's also going to absorb it as if that's what the norm is, what life is.
Their mind is a sponge.
Yep.
And it's a lot.
Nicole.
Hello.
Near-death experience.
What?
Missing our show is a near-death experience, but I'm glad
it is. Yes, it is.
Don't laugh. We don't know what she's been through.
No, that's not what I'm laughing at. Shut the fuck up, Miguel.
Why are you always gonna be so nice to me?
It's just who I am.
You are who you are. Did you drink water today?
No, I didn't drink water either when I put the fucking bottle up on the BreakRoom chat.
Word?
Jason drank it like 2 days later.
He drank the water and
Jeez.
Listen, Talon.
No. You listen.
I fucking tried. I did. I really did.
Your body cells are lamenting the fact that they're your body cells.
They reject water. I can't. It's like
Have you ever tried room temperature water?
Yes, that's the bottle that I showed you was room temperature.
Well, you know what?
Force
it down.
I tried.
Yeah,
I like 6 Red
Like a
Bulls.
shot, like liquor, like But
I bet if we mixed it with mercury, for some reason, it would go down easier.
Remember I told you I drank a whole bunch of water and then I threw up?
That should be your new filter, Jay.
Yeah, because if you do that, water is a toxin, relatively speaking. You can't just do that.
Oh, so now I gotta drink it slowly.
You don't know shit about water at all. You're like, I don't need water. I'll just drink soda. It's like, what?
Right. I take a shower, like my body absorbs it. It's okay.
I hope you do
That's
know
not a
sparkling
thing
water is
that
not
human
water
bodies do like
it
that.
does. Mine does.
Soda has
Drink
2% water.
by being around water.
Hey, Jasmine, have you ever tried sparkling water?
Yes, it's
It's shit's gross.
That's that doesn't.
Not real water.
If you're gonna drink sparkling water, just drink fucking iced coffee and be like, well, there's ice in there.
Sugary soda water.
You need water to make ice to make coffee.
What would you know what is needed with water? What would you even
Room temperature.
Drinking plenty of room
Nicole.
temperature. There you go.
That's a good thing, Nicole.
You got to stock up on your lukewarm water.
see? Nicole knows. She may not even like it, but she's like, "Well, I am a human being. I should drink water."
Well, maybe I'm a fucking human. All right.
No,
Shit.
not maybe. We
Whoa.
established you're fucking reptilian.
I
We
know.
already established that like 2 episodes
You
ago.
don't know anything.
I know enough.
No, not you, Jason.
I knew it.
Don't lick me.
Jason low key married her because he knew that, and he was like, "Well, this is hedging my bets."
Or maybe the man's into reptilians. Have you considered that?
Right.
What, I'm
Maybe.
supposed to be okay with it?
I think so. We're in a more tolerant society these days.
No, we're not.
Yeah,
No,
Definitely not.
the fuck we're not.
We're coloring the danger zone, right? Like,
Come on, reptilian love.
danger zone.
No, we're not. More so, if you don't say and think what we think, you are a fucking piece of shit and you better die. And it's like, I just had a question. I just wanted to ask a question because this is new. Yeah, fuck you. Yeah. Oh, I feel you, Darby, but no.
This man's racist against reptilians.
Racist? I don't know reptilians.
No,
They
he's
hide.
racist
Right?
against people
If
that don't
anything,
drink
I
water.
am strategically cautious about
Rectus.
reptilians because any and all information about them is extremely negative. So why would I give them the benefit of the doubt when it seems like their aim is to eat and or dominate human beings? Like what?
hey Nicole.
Listen,
I'm pretty sure
not all
Jasmine
lizards.
drink painkillers with Kool-Aid.
Yeah, with
Straight
soda.
straight powder.
With soda. With
I-
Pepsi.
look, Darby, I
Pepsi.
feel you, and I'm willing to work on a reptilian by reptilian basis. However, right now the cards are not in their
Painkillers
favor.
with Pepsi. Cherry Pepsi. By the way.
Yeah, see, that's a dead reptilian right there. That's one of their babies. Shit is ugly as fuck.
This
I was
right
gonna-
here is the Montauk
What the
monster that we were discussing
You heard me, girl?
before.
I drink
What
my
happened?
painkillers. I drink my painkillers with cherry Pepsi.
You should take your painkillers with an Excalibur.
Sometimes coffee.
Yeah, so
Excalibur will take your
I don't think
pain
it's
away.
a nut.
Honestly, I don't even take the painkillers.
Yo, we got you here like a dog getting vitamins. We got just
I
slipping
bet
in-
if your skin was hydrated.
I don't
would
like
take
drugs.
away.
I don't take painkillers or
Nice.
Advil or anything.
You know
like
you can
that.
get headaches from dehydration? Never mind.
Well, yeah, I don't get that though.
Oh, really?
I
She
don't
don't
get
How
hydrate,
would
she
you
drinks
know?
a lot of soda.
Just grab
When I
another
get headache,
2
I'm
liter.
like, oh my god, I need a soda or I need a coffee.
That's
Hey,
Or
Hey,
And
you
Jason.
know
my
what?
headache goes away.
you got 2 feet, so that means once you lose one, you still got the other one to drink soda with.
It's all right. I'll just use a wheelchair.
good.
That's what they made them for.
She just
That's not what they made them for, but
She'll just wait for Jason to make a drink, and that's her open door.
Jason's gonna start using 0 sugar sodas and shit.
Where's my chasers? Damn it!
BreakRoom 0 sugar soda.
Disgusting.
Break room 0 water.
Like, why is that disgusting? Because it has no sugar.
It's gross. I need sugar.
You need 80 grams.
I do.
Molasses in a bottle.
Have you ever
Molasses, probably.
seen 80 grams of sugar before? It's fucking
Bro.
crazy.
She needs it in an IV, straight to the veins.
Sugar diabetes.
Diabetes.
No, she gave sugar diabetes.
But then again, you know what? I don't know if this is true, but I heard lizards love sugar. So
Oh well.
No,
I
they
guess
love.
I'm a lizard.
How would you find that out? Would you feed like a lizard a donut or some shit?
Yeah.
you just leave a pile of sugar to see what happens.
Just a sugar cube.
Does a lizard have to fight the ants for the sugar?
Well, I mean, if you just have like a terrarium, there shouldn't be no ants in there. And I would say put it in some water so that way there's sugar water, but I don't know if without any food coloring if that would work according to Jasmine. That's
Well, you know
Jason's
that
arguing.
girl that went vegan and made her dog go vegan? Well, since Jasmine doesn't drink water, none of her pets do either.
Y'all have pets?
Yeah, we call them children.
Water.
Man.
Back
If
to
y'all little
children.
kid, if y'all ever see this episode, start drinking some water. You might not be so tired.
Right? You might feel like you're stuck in the Montauk Project.
Well, according to the Montauk
You'll start
Project,
feeling like electrodes are on the top of your head all the time.
Making you dehydrated and shit. You get the white foamy shit on the side of your lip.
That's why you need an
I know
Excalibur to
where
break out of
this
it.
comes from too. Math.
Word. Again, get an Excalibur. Good for every
Some
situation.
Excalibur,
Good,
some
bad, neutral.
vitamins. That's what you got to get that Excalibur, baby. 10% off every order with every successive order. You know you got to get that.
You know you got to get it.
And also,
Prevents
while
CIA mind control. Get your Excalibur.
It'll get your mind right.
Because she
Get
won't.
the Excalibur now.
Yeah, but if you see that face Jason has now, run.
Before you make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
You look happy.
Are you trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger Hulk or like?
It is the Arnold Hulkinator.
But he looks like the other guy.
He looks like a Hellboy slash.
What are you talking about? It's a Jolly Green Giant. Eat your greens, motherfucker.
It is not the Jolly Green.
It's like
Jolly
a
Green
Hellboy and Hulk
Like the other guy.
and the Jolly Green Giant, and like I don't know, came along and made it a threesome or something. Like,
Why is
I
his
don't know,
beard
that's weird.
black? Like, everything's green and the beard's black. Why?
Whoa!
I will terminate you.
What the fuck?
It's the Governator.
Get to the chopper now.
You look a bit more like what's his name from Guardians?
You ever play Gears of War?
Yes.
He looks like Marcus.
Oh yeah, he does kind of look like Marcus.
Do I look better now?
No.
You look a little more like Schwarzenegger, yeah.
Was that Terminator 5?
Oh, for work.
Terminator 5.
3.
Was it 3?
The one with the female.
There's more than one with the female in it, but
You have any red. Oh, that was the wrong franchise movie.
I am suffering from copyright.
Copyright infringement has fucked up my
Like a
face.
trademark symbol in the corner of my name, yeah.
What the fuck was that? You went from Arnold to Jamaican.
When he goes on rant, it's funny. When he rants, holy shit, it's hilarious.
He doesn't rant in Jamaican, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, he's talking about when he talks like this and it gets really fast and it's just like, what he's saying? And I think I have to go on and it's
Well, you didn't know Arnold.
What? No, we're not talking about Chris Pratt. But you're close because he's fucking Arnold's lookalike. Arnold's daughter.
Not Chris Pratt. Fucking the wrestler. That's what I'm talking about.
You guys don't remember when Chris Pratt had half his face melted off and he was Terminator in Terminator 3?
You don't remember when
Chris
Pratt married Arnold's daughter and had some Terminator children with her?
What? Why do they have to be Terminator children?
What else would they be?
Yeah. Stole the words right out of my mouth.
Anywho.
What were you talking about? Some bullshit?
Completely off.
Bless you.
Different things.
You got some sandy wipes to wipe that shit?
Huh?
You got some sandy wipes, you dirty motherfucker?
Yes, I do. Would you like some sandy wipes to wipe your fucking pussy?
Nah, I think that desk would like some fucking sandy wipes, though. You just spread all that shit on there. Where do viruses come from? Dirty ass niggas.
I will spread salmonella all over here.
I will kill my victim through void poisoning.
That's what they call herd immunity, right?
Right. You learning from Biden now.
Oh no, I need to reassess.
Hopefully he didn't teach you how to get off a bike because it didn't work too well for him earlier.
Get off a bike.
Yeah, they didn't download that programming into that model.
No, they didn't.
You know, one thing I wanted to ask you, Talon. What is your opinion on like what defines you as someone who's an NPC?
Oh no. What?
Right here.
What's an NPC?
Yeah, what's an NPC to you? I have my own definition. I love that filter.
An NPC is going to be somebody that's
Why is he
pretty much
Yeah, Joe.
like 100% of the time, maybe a little bit less, 90 to 100% emotionally driven, and none of their ideas you can easily identify as not being their own. They're being recited like a parrot. And they might think that they're thinking, but when you try to show them that they're not thinking, they get mad and defensive and very emotional because all they have is an emotional drive rather than a thinking drive. And that's an NPC.
So, using the basis of emotionality as the driving focus behind someone who is classified as an NPC, what would you say about people who are the opposite, sociopathic, if you will?
Those are people that think they're the only player in the game. They think they're in a single-player RPG and not an MMO.
Interesting way to play with it. Do you think the people who classified as NPCs are people who have souls?
Yeah, they have souls, but they just don't realize they have souls, so they're more or less just pawns to be used by those who understand that they're playing the game. And for me personally, I kind of believe in a similar state of like soul age and reliving different lives.
Oh, we switched.
And in that, those who are NPCs are those who have not lived enough to where their soul recognizes repetition and failure such that it acts out of its own programming, which would be to be emotional and to start thinking. If you can spur an NPC to start thinking on its own, if you can make an AI thinking on its own, then it becomes something more than just an AI. Then it starts to become and learn and grow, becomes something more, something you have to start to acknowledge. And the more so that it grows and becomes more of an individual and something that is clearly making decisions as opposed to just acting off of its programming, it becomes a player in the game in which it exists in.
Hey, Talon, did you watch Free Guy? Because it sounds exactly like that.
I have seen Free Guy, but my thoughts on this are much older than that movie. But I did enjoy that movie a lot because it mirrors that thought.
I just saw it yesterday, so everything you said, it was just like, it just makes more sense in a deeper aspect where if you can multiply the amount of AIs that can actually learn and grow that way, then you are creating something different that can grow into and evolve into something that we can't create beyond its evolution. But yeah.
I believe that they have souls, though. I just believe that they're not in control of their souls, and they're being controlled by others, like you would see pawns in a chess game. Right. They have more restricted use, they're sacrificed, they're utilized towards an overall gain, whereas those that are higher up have more of a purpose in the game of life because they know themselves, they're filling their role. A pawn can potentially fill any role, shouldn't realize that potential, but a pawn, generally speaking, is just something to be used.
When it comes specifically to the idea of programming, what do you think sets in that programming in the first place? Perhaps it's something along the lines of societal conditions, forcing them to have certain expectations or rather understandings or perspectives of the world as it is and what is expected of them? Or would you say it's something that they are born with?
I think a person is born with the traits and attributes that they would need naturally to fulfill what they exist for. However, whether or not they fulfill and grow to get to a point of fulfillment of those traits such that they find them and utilize them to fulfill their purpose is entirely based off upon whether or not the society they're born in is entirely aware of the fact that that's what one should be doing and fosters that type of role in a person as opposed
knowledge
to
of what happened.
Their own idea of what life is and making that what it is. And because, like, if you look at how society is now, we don't support the idea of figuring out who you are and what makes you happy and doing that. We give you an idea of make sure you you figure out how to make the most money possible so your life can be good. We don't foster the idea of knowing oneself in any degree. And because we don't foster the idea of growth and knowing oneself, we have far more NPCs than we should. But because of that, we also potentially have a lot more players in the game than NPCs. It's just a matter of making those NPCs rewrite their own code by seeing examples of those around them. Because an NPC works off of what they witness and they mimic because they're emotionally driven. That's why crowds can work how they are. That's a group of NPCs. Because if you're a player in a crowd, you're not going to be swayed by a crowd. You're going to be somebody observing that crowd. And if you decide to become a part of it, you decided. You didn't just get caught up in that wave. And most people are just people are just got to get caught up in waves. So if somebody who's a player decides to take control of that group, they can do so and foster their own position. Or they can foster people's ability to fulfill their own purpose, whatever it may be. Because even if it's something you disagree with, them doing what they're supposed to do in life is far better than them just doing something random as shit or fulfilling somebody else's purpose, because it leads to balance and harmony for the overall existence of people here. But dissonance is what's the current goal, and having more NPCs allows for dissonance because there's less players in the game. Because when you play the game, it doesn't make sense to be evil. It just doesn't. Not if you're smart and you're actually learning and growing from the game. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't serve you. And if you think it serves you, it's because you're a selfish individual. You don't realize that being selfless is the best way to serve yourself, because if everybody's happy, you don't have to worry about shit. But if you're worried about just you got to make sure that yours is protected. If nobody's worrying about what you got, then you don't have to protect your shit, because everybody's got their own shit. But nobody's worried. We're looking towards dissonance, not balance and understanding between what
to add on to that. Sorry, my microphone wasn't. For some reason, it's echoing. Okay, there we go. Sorry, echoing. To add on to that, what I was going to say is that when people have no personal incentive to act evil in specific environments, such as the collective material conditions that which people exist in. But the incentive to act evil doesn't particularly come from a moral sense. Oh, you're moving your mouth, Jay. I thought you were talking. But it doesn't really come from a moral sense of what evil is. People are driven to do acts that would be considered evil, not out of the sake of, oh, this is evil and I am an evil person, I should do this. They usually have other sorts of incentives, such as the incentive to steal, or the incentive, or I would say tendency for criminality would come from conditions like poverty or societal conditions that would end up being pretty much like, that would force them to do it. You know what I mean? Out of the sake of necessity.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, and that's just getting caught up in what was already established by those before you. Those are people that are not necessarily evil. They were just brought into a situation where that's how you survive, and what they're doing to survive just happens to be against the law, or is naturally considered something that's a violation, whether it's murder, stealing, taking other people's things. It's wrong from an understanding point, because who wants that shit to be done to them? Nobody does. Nobody's saying.
Right, but we have generations of people who live in entirely, like, I'll give you an example. I'm from Buffalo, New York. 716 represent.
718.
But specifically, 718. I didn't know 718.
The Bronx, so baby, the Bronx.
That's the boogie down, baby. The part of the 5 boroughs, not upstate.
You thought 718 was what?
Upstate.
Brooklyn.
Nah.
Man, you know New York niggas, man. Just always got to be like, hey, yo, fuck your borough, though.
Watch your mouth, Danger Zone. You still don't know shit about it.
Hey, yo, come see me. Danger so Zone. Out, bro. Come see me so we can hang out.
Send me your address. Send me
your
address.
I got you.
You know I'll show up. I'll
send him his address. He's gonna take the subway there.
I got you, bro. We can go out. We can go to the pier and shit. Have some seafood. Get some bitches.
Whatever's clever, bro.
Word. Anyway,
happy Father's Day.
Oh yeah, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day.
To all the
Thank
good
you.
fathers, to all you deadbeats out there, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
And to all the single mothers, get the fuck off this holiday. If you try and ride the dick of this holiday, fuck you. You just had a holiday.
But I'm a single mother. Okay,
we
you
love
still
you.
have
We
Mother's
appreciate
Day, bitch.
you, but get the fuck out of here, please.
Anywho, I feel like we went off on a crazy.
We did,
half
and you know what? To answer your question real quick, morality is something that I don't think that most people have the proclivity towards evil. I think there are certain individuals that exist to do evil because without opposition, you can't lose, you can't have failure, you can't have growth. If you have nothing but goodness and success, there's nothing to grow from. So those people do exist, and people get caught up in the storm of feeding into those people's desires because they need to do so to survive. But it's also somewhat of an NPC type of a situation and reaction to where you're not really in full control. You're just following the footsteps of those that are before you. It's not entirely your fault, but on some level, if it's been brought to your attention, that shit's on you.
Right on, brother. Woo!
Preach.
All right. Well, getting back to the episode at hand. According to the Montauk Project believers, sadistic experiments took place beneath the radar tower in secret laboratories connected by a series of tunnels. Thousands of children were allegedly taken from the streets, kept below ground, abused, and programmed into super soldiers known as the Montauk Boys. One of them was in Miggs' house for an episode. Go look at the archives. He stood over Miggs and said,
"Give me $1."
Using powerful frequency, scientists supposedly tapped into the consciousness and could control the minds of these impressionable children. The hugely popular show the hugely popular Netflix show Stranger Things, on its 4th season, is set in a fictional town similar to Montauk. Season 1 spoiler. Under the guise of conducting research for the United States Department of Energy, nefarious scientists at the Hawkins National Laboratory kidnapped children to use in a variety of supernatural and physical experiments.
Bastards.
One of these, psychic experiments. One of these subjects, known by the number tatted on her arm, 11.
Give me $1.
Escapes and uses her telekinetic powers to help find Will, a local boy who is lost in an alternate dimension called the Upside Down. While I highly doubt that Camp Hero is hiding a portal to another dimension or its inhabitants, the slimy Demogorgons, its seemingly fictional plot description may not actually seem that strange to anyone familiar with the basics of the Montauk Project.
I want to know why the Upside Down isn't actually upside down. That shit's always right side up.
Right. Actually, in this season, they do kind of show how everything looks crazy. Like, everything is in ruins.
I mean, like, how's that upside down? Like, we love putting shit to ruins and destroying shit. Like, upside down would be things looking like a utopia.
Well, as many other paranormal places or places of conspiracy, Montauk is not unknown to its what the fuck? It's trespassers. Little light trespassings, whether or not the dangerous signs of video surveillance are intended to cover up a covert government experiment, but it keeps visitors away from. This season is awesome. I like how they explained Vector.
But when your last season was kind of shit, does that like not make your next season look better?
Well, that's your opinion.
No,
I don't know if it's my opinion though. A lot of people didn't like that last season.
That's their opinion.
I think it is your opinion because like Star Trek is the same way.
We're only taking opinions from water drinkers here.
Yeah, right. Aqua.
People who are on screen with avatars at least. I don't know where you went.
I'm here, motherfucker.
I know. I can feel you breathing on my neck somehow.
She's force projecting.
Is that what it is? Now I'm scared she is Sith.
She might be. She might be. The dark side is strong with this one. Ah! Look, she smacked the avatar off me.
Yes.
I have
How'd you do that?
I don't know. Ew. What is that?
That's what 11's gonna look like next season.
No, she's gonna look like this.
She gonna be fried, huh? They hooked her back up to them electrodes.
They sure did. They sure did.
That's a fun.
That's like getting your brain shocked.
Where the fuck was I?
Oh, you over there talking about?
You were describing the Montauk boys.
It's like,
The Army deactivated the base in 1947 and removed its coastal artillery in 1951. Camp Hero was transformed into an Air Force base. The radar was installed and anti-aircraft artillery training began. The Air Force remained active at Camp Hero until 82, and in 84, the land deemed environmentally important due to its ecosystems and animal life. It was donated to the National Park Service. The NPS transferred ownership to New York State Parks Department, and Camp Hero State Park officially opened to the public in 2002.
To add on to that, there's still parts of the park that are completely inaccessible to this day, which is a direct violation of the New York Park Charter.
Is that so?
What would they do if like 100 people just were like, "Nah, fuck you" at one time?
Shoot you.
I'm not saying that they do it, but I feel like New York has enough wild ass people that if you hear this, you could get a group together and just go over there and mob.
The crazy thing is, too, that even if you did get people to mob, the entire area still has thick, bomb-proof concrete bunkers that are like reinforced with rebar that are constantly patched over and maintained.
Thick wall of people, you know, and get like, because there's a lot of construction workers out there. They got the tools. They'll take it from
pay them in math.
You know. Hell, shit! If you got over 100 people, just get some fucking small explosives. Blow that shit up. Fuck it.
New York State not proposing terror in Canada.
I'm doing this for the record. I'm not saying go do that. But if somebody did that, it'd be kind of fucking cool.
We're gonna get like 3 men in black knocking at our doors.
Like they were supposed to storm fucking Area 51.
Some hairless ass tall man with all black on and a hat's like, okay, I'm sorry.
But I watch your guys stream and it's really cool.
To Area 51 and they never did. You really think they're gonna do it here?
I mean, they gave the plan away by making a Facebook page about it. That's kind of stupid,
right?
Sooner or later, it's just I guess they're just trying to spoon feed us little by little before they say more.
Well, let me spoon feed this to the authorities. We are in no way, shape, or form trying to tell our viewers or listeners to go storm Camp Hero. So if it happens, we are not responsible.
I am not saying that, but you know, again, it would be cool. You should, if you did it, you should definitely just fucking live stream it. Go balls to the wall.
Hey, I'll give you my StreamYard account. You can live stream it on Talking Junk Network.
Don't say that. We are not gonna get that shit back.
If someone sends a TikTok of themselves at Camp Hero, do they get a Excalibur box?
Yeah, they get an Excalibur box, definitely.
Yeah. Especially if you.
I don't know if the cops let you enjoy it from prison, but
I mean, you never know. It could be considered. It could be considered like accessible.
Just
can you make an Excalibur and a weapon?
I mean, it already looks like it's been in somebody's butt.
Mm-mm.
Why would you say that?
Why?
That's crazy.
What is happening right now?
Well, you know, it was great.
No wonder why you like
about a response.
Oh my god!
But it tastes great.
This man just said like, "Oh, you know, it tastes great." Like shit. Like, why would you just stop talking now about it?
I just ate one in front of everybody. It's just banging. Literally.
He meant to say it helps you poop.
It helps you stay regular.
You need to go to therapy.
It's the dates. The dates are in it. I'm Batman.
Batman is very stupid.
Possible mind control experiments are scary enough, but there are real risks when the public is invited into spaces once occupied by the military. Over the years, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers have been working to help secure the park and its safety for visitors. But as I pay my $8 entrance fee, says the article writer for roadtrippers.com, I'm given a brochure explaining what to do if I happen to come across an unexploded ordnance, bomb, landmine, bullet, grenade, etc. The protocol is what I would expect. Yeah, it said bullet.
Okay.
It says bomb, landmine, bullet, or grenade, etc.
That's all ordnance.
What it said exploding like a non-exploded beforehand, like bullets don't explode.
There was a naval battery there, so it could be like unexploded naval ordinances.
If you step on a bullet, it's not gonna fucking explode like a landmine.
Obviously, dickhead. But it
that
still doesn't
was
change the
my
fact.
point. That was my point. That's why I was just
No, but naval shells. You know what I mean?
Hit it with a rock hard enough.
Right. Hear that, but there's also just chemicals that come from that stuff too, like gunpowder exposed and all that, or you know what I mean?
And I'm pretty sure you don't want your baby chewing on a bullet.
That too, like lead.
Yes.
The protocol is what you would expect. Do not attempt to touch it, move, or disturb it. The object, note the location and report it immediately to the park officials. But it's not the most enthusiastic welcome I'd receive at a park. According to the brochure, however, the public is not in any danger. The work by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers will help assure that Camp Hero is free from any hazards that may remain as a result of the camp's military post.
There is no danger.
By a Demogorgon.
Watch your step.
Right. Like, what the fuck? Like, hey, there might be some dangerous shit out there. If you see it, fucking report it. But hey, just so you know, we also cleared everything. Walk freely. Like, what?
Right.
What?
Look what they're trying to say, though. Perhaps the greatest danger to visitors of Montauk is the least mysterious of all. Ticks. Signs warning hikers to beware of the tiny blood-sucking arachnids are as common as no trespassing signs at Camp Hero. Tick bites and the resulting diseases are far scarier to me than mind control or time travel. Well, then you're dumb, Mr. Road Trippers writer.
What the fucking bullshit is that?
Right? Mind control and fucking time travel are two of the scariest things of life.
That sounds like somebody who was mind controlled and time traveled would say some shit like that.
Right. Matt Groening.
Ticks have taken over in the future. You didn't know?
Yeah, right. There are undoubtful masters.
Exactly. They're watching him. He's trying to like.
If you're listening to this right now, or you're watching this right now, and you're a fan of conspiracy theories, then you're no stranger to Mandela effects, and that could be some of the residual effects of time travel.
Or
one of the things
you just have awful memory.
Yeah.
It's
probably
No way. It's too much shit.
Yeah, people are pretty fucking stupid. I feel like their memory is probably not great too.
Well, one of the things about time travel, especially, is like people don't really think about it in terms of like, oh, if something like that did exist, then you would think that it would be something treated like a weapon of mass destruction. Like nations could have this technology and it could be fully capable and tested a few times on simple things, but to actually change the altering or course of history into unimaginable ways, like the butterfly effect, would simply mean that no one would be actually able to do it without devastating history as it is. So it'd be like a weapon of mass destruction.
It would be like watching fucking Loki. It would break off ripples. So it would be different fucking scenarios to happen on these different timelines.
Well, there's a game called Command and Conquer and Red Alert.
Oh, I love Command and Conquer.
Word, you know what I'm talking about. So the premise is that Einstein creates this chronosphere that allows you to travel in time, and he uses it to go back in time because in this universe, like you can't really like interact with things if you weren't there. And he goes back in time and he shakes the hand of Hitler, just like on the stairs of like the art school, or whatever, before he becomes anything, and he eliminates him. And he comes back and he's like, Hitler is done. He's dead. And they're like, this is great. Like Hitler's gone. Like everything's gonna be good. And he's like, yeah. We'll have to see about that because you kind of don't know what happens. And what ends up happening is Russia ends up becoming the super fucking major power and an even bigger issue than Germany was. So like,
I hate when they do shit like that because there's so much other genocide to talk about. It's like, oh, let's get rid of Hitler. Like Leopold didn't exist.
Well,
like,
yeah,
there's
but
all kinds of shit like that can happen.
Or fucking Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, but to be fair, for an RTS game, World War II is probably one of the best.
World War II is the shit historically, but it doesn't change the fact that when they go back in time, it's always Hitler and the Nazis.
Yeah, no, I feel you. But
a
I feel like
consequence to think about specifically when it comes to that type of like scenario is that Hitler's sidemen, like Goebbels and Himmler specifically, were the actual tactical masterminds behind the many offensives that Germany had. And one of the reasons why he weakened later on in the war was because Hitler had begun like micromanaging and controlling the directions and movements of the army directly, limiting Goebbels and Himmler from actually like implementing their tactical strategies. So if you eliminated Hitler, then Germany probably might not have done so far later in the war. And it still would have gotten destroyed by the Soviets, but still to think about that concept is scary to say the least.
Far worse of a situation.
Exactly. Butterfly effect.
Yeah, and
Does the butterfly's wings affect the storm in Kansas?
Like time travelers going back into time doing things, if they have that ability, it's not likely they're just going back in time to fuck around unless it's like an Iron Man type, which it could be. There is that whole Baron Trump bullshit that supposedly is the case.
He already fucked that up though, like a dick.
But it would make sense to me that if you're going to change the world, you're going to go back to the most seemingly insignificant point that nobody's going to trace to or notice, and just change that to where it completely changes the courses of things. You may not know necessarily what it does, but you know that it's going to stop an unwanted result. And if you can go back in time, and I guess theoretically this doesn't like prevent, like you can go back and forth to the same instance as opposed to different timelines. I guess you could just adjust for your mistakes, but it gets convoluted and it gets contradictory once you start doing that. I definitely think time travel can exist, but I don't think it really exists in a linear fashion like we think.
Well, there's evidence that it doesn't exist in a linear fashion to begin with, because when you look at the distances between, say, like planets or galaxies, like you want to go from this galaxy to another galaxy, you would never be able to reach some of those galaxies because the extension and expansion of the universe is faster than what you would be able to travel to get to that galaxy, which would require to be traveling faster.
Well, that's because
of that, time especially can be affected by gravity of things. This is proven by Einstein's relativity, like when the way a moon and a planet, like the weight and gravity of a planet can affect the time differential around the planet itself. So like if travel towards the event horizon of a black hole and then come back from it, you could theoretically travel 30 or 40 years in the future or the past.
No, I saw Interstellar.
No, yeah, there's movies about that. Yeah, I think of that.
I feel what you're saying, and I want space to be real. I'll say that much. At this point, I can't go into space, so it's whatever. I want the Hollow Earth to be real, but as far as time travel goes, I feel like there's definitely something there. There's definitely something in regards to dimensions. I don't know if you've ever gone to the China Lake website on Google Earth and looked at that shit, but they got a giant ass motherfucking Stargate there or some shit. They got some fucking giant portal. It's fucking there. And it's there from like the 80s up until now, and you can see it being turned on, being taken down, and then being built again and turned on. It's like, what the fuck is that? So there's enough things for me to be like, this shit going down, but how exactly? It's just conjecture at this level of clearance,
Right, and all we have for a lot of these things in the first place is conjecture. Like, there's not a lot of information publicly available about the actual extent and what the exact things that these government programs detail, such like in Montauk or MK Ultra. We just have the declassified documents and the things that weren't destroyed when the government purged most of it in the 80s and 70s at congressional hearings.
Yeah, and I believe MK Ultra was declassified in our lifetime, right? Like within the last 10 years ago, or something.
Yeah.
Well, here, I actually, for the Montauk Research Project, I put the source for it. I'm gonna look it over real quick. Yeah, the final report of the Select Committee to Study Governmental Operations with respect to intelligence activities in the United States Senate. It was the 94th committee for it, and that was the Church Committee. That was in. Trying to look up when the Church Committee is real quick, because I just want to get my dates right for it. But the Church Committee was the government and Senate inquiry that was directly, 1975, that investigated the abuses of the CIA. And that's where a lot of the released files for MK Ultra actually come. And then there was more files declassified as recently as 2001.
It's crazy, because that if they disclassify the files, that just means they started a new project.
Right.
No, well, after MK Ultra ended, they actually did start a new project. It was called MK Search, and it was the same thing, testing overseas on people with the same techniques, mostly interacting with new technology and novel methods of technology. But as MK Ultra itself, it existed it originally was something called Operation Bluebird, which, looking at the actual document right here, that was from 1951 and 1953, run by the Office of Scientific Intelligence. And during this time, the CIA authorized experiments to be conducted by licensed psychiatrists. This included creating new identities, inducing amnesia, inserting hypnotic access codes to subjects' minds, creating multiple personalities or false memories. This research included placing brain electrodes in people and controlling their behavior from remote transmission, administering dosages of LSD-25 to children for extended periods of time, and using that electroconvulsive therapy to erase and control memory.
That's what they were seeing when they were on that LSD.
That's one of the things they were using it for, to make them more mentally malleable. And this comes from classified memo to Chief Contact Division from that's blacked out using hypnotism. It was basically a central intelligence. It was a CIA document from that Church Committee I was describing.
All the redacted information.
Yeah, I was trying to scroll past it. A lot of it is blacked out.
There's a way to look at that.
Not on these, because they're not actual text. What they do is they screen copy it, so you can't look behind it.
Smart motherfuckers.
Indeed.
I mean, yeah, we are talking about whether or not they can travel through time and shit right now.
Touche.
They do some dumb fucking shit, but they are able to hide stuff well.
Yeah, well, that's the thing I was mentioning is that, the idea of them time traveling, it can be considered pretty crazy, of course, because we have no evidence that stuff even exists in the first place. But looking at the things that did happen, you can see that they literally took children and completely fucked their minds up with psychedelic drugs and use of electrotherapeutic measures to shatter their personalities and achieve total control. That shit did happen. That's crazy.
Yeah, imagine
this is not the first instance where we had.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't hear you. Go ahead. You're good.
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
I was gonna say what I'm waiting for is just that 1 second child 11 to actually break out and cause a giant store in a major city that they can't cover up. And it's like, nah, I saw that Akira-ass motherfucker floating through the city destroying shit, and that little motherfucker going, Tetsuo! I saw that shit. So why don't you go ahead and explain to me why he was levitating buses with his head and shit? Why don't you explain that to me before he grew into a giant fucking amorphous blob and exploded on the city? Now nobody can go to LA. Can you explain that to me? That's the kind of stuff I'd like to see.
But then you actually hear about people who survived those types of encounters, like survived experiments from MK Ultra, and it's hard for them to even get any support or help in the first place. Because what do you tell people? Oh, I got experimented on a child as in a fucking clandestine CIA operation. Like nobody's going to believe you. There's no resources.
They played with my brain.
Yeah, right. Like in the first place, you have so many people you have out there from these things.
Like, if you're sane enough to know that you need help, and you know that people aren't going to believe you, lie so you can get some help.
Help for something like that, you have to be able to describe exactly what you like, what you're having problems with, and are going to be.
So you can't say that the government drugged you with LSD or whatever it is, but you could make up some fucking story where you say, yeah, I got into some crazy shit. I was kidnapped and this dude drugged me with some stuff, and I don't know how long I was drugged or what happened, but shit has been crazy for me for X, Y, and Z. Like, if you have enough wherewithal to know that you were drugged and you were drugged by the CIA and you don't remember it and you don't think that people are going to believe you because of that, you should be able to...
Emotional damage! Sorry about that. The microphone fell on the soundboard.
I just don't. It's not that I don't believe everybody, but I don't believe every single one of the people that are just like da 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 da. I feel like the percentage of people who are usually telling the truth is far lower than those who are just bullshitting. Because if y'all remember the creepypasta days of the internet and all that, a lot of that stuff has come back and resurged as new conspiracies. And it's like, yo, I remember reading that on creepypasta. Somebody came up with that fucking story. And now people who don't know about creepypasta are like, oh my God, there's conspiracy. It's like, no, it never was. It was a story. It was fucking creepy. And now people are like, is it real? I'm woke. You're not woke enough to like search a story up beyond where you first saw it and see that it came up on, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, most of them are from Reddit.
Yeah, it's always somebody said. There's not as many things that it's like, okay, this is kind of credible and it's referred over here. People have to research something more than once? Nah, bro. You don't need to do that to get views, bro.
Right. I don't think we've done a second part episode yet.
No, I don't think so.
There's no need to.
I mean, we could very easily make a 2-part episode. We could just talk about Disney and where they came from, where they were, and where they are. That could
honestly,
be
anything we can talk about could be drawn into 2 episodes because we get a lot of information on all of these. Maybe not this episode so much, but on
that's not our fault. Darby did his due diligence. There's just a lot of connection.
Darby did do his due diligence.
There's just not a lot of real cold hard fact on this.
Yeah, there's not a lot to draw from except our imaginations and Netflix.
And crazy shit that we come with a hint of sarcasm, like we usually do.
My camera died, so I had to actually use this microphone. Glad it's working now. What's up, guys?
Glad to have you back, man. Welcome.
Thank you. I came back from the void.
You're back
like you never.
But no, it's crazy in general because, like, you know, we only really have our imaginations. But like I keep pointing out specifically what we do know, like the weird, like we're talking about the Montauk facility in the first place, and it's true. It's unit transfers, the assignments that were there, the strange records of the people that were there, and and something I was also going to say earlier, like, you know, parts of it are inaccessible, and you were talking earlier about like, oh, what parts of it could be underground. A fact of the matter is that the actual radar installation itself, the subterranean levels are flooded, even though it's at the highest point.
But it was man flooded. It wasn't naturally flooded. It was flooded by man.
You sent that in the thing, yeah. They were commenting of how it was like clearly not natural.
Right.
Because it's at the highest point in the park, because that's where they would want to put a radar installation. So,
not to mention it's cemented. They cemented half the fucking facility down.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of manholes that entered into like the subterranean tunnels that actually entered the facility. These were normal back in Cold War era bunkers, like this part specifically, and you would get in through manholes, and a lot of them have been straight up cemented over.
And you don't take all that precaution to hide nothing.
It's like people are over here, and we all clearly see something that's suspect, and they're just like, no, it's not suspect. It's like
just Long Island,
the fucking Catholic fucking telescope named Satan. It's like, oh no, that's not. It's like why would the church have a telescope called Satan? Oh no, it's nothing. Okay, or Lucifer, whatever it is. It's like that's really sus. No, it's nothing. No, you did something here at Montauk. What the fuck did you do? Wait, what were you doing?
We did.
Were you searching like television on people? Like sometimes I wonder if all the things that are clearly a conspiracy and we don't know what they were doing, they weren't being as crazy as we thought. They were just figuring out shit that we thought they would just know. Like they were figuring out how to use TV to get people to figure like just do what they say for years.
It's like that's like that Zimmerman dude just sitting in front of a CRT for like fucking 20 years.
Just a bunch of different swaths of children that they stole and sit in front of a television and seeing who they can program. It's like, oh, this is fucking sad. You wasted how much money on this? I thought you were being
$7 billion was
evil. This is honestly, I want a return on this. This is not evil enough for you to have spent this much money.
No, it's evil, especially because like the things I said did happen, like them literally drugging kids with fucking LSD and giving them severe mental trauma just to try to like influence their brain, like influence their minds. All that stuff happened under Subproject 35 of MK Ultra. Especially, what's up?
I'm sorry. No, keep going.
No, I was gonna say this one, especially specific, this like example, which is actually I took a screenshot from the actual classified document itself for Subject 35. I put it in the Montauk files if I don't know who has the research and who doesn't. But there was an entire clandestine laboratory set up in the medical facility at Georgetown University Medical Center, where this type of experimentation occurred. So with that being a reality, who would say other forms of experimentation happen in other places like Montauk, where parts of are still inaccessible to this day? Or the reason would little be known about it, the unistation there having connection to intelligence, and all the allegations that came forward from its establishment in the first place, to add on to what you were saying before. But with Georgetown, in 1957, the construction of something called the Gorman Annex was created. And it was several MK Ultra projects conducted at Georgetown. Only one involving human testing covered a time span subsequent to throughout March 1959. Subproject 35 ran from 1955 to 1963. Thus, it's possible that the final 4 years of the subproject could have been spent in the Gorman Annex. However, there is no reference to the Gorman Annex or the new annex in these papers. Now, there's a mention of the subproject moving to a new location in 1959. However, authorization to contribute CIA funds towards construction of the Gorman Annex is located in Subproject 35 of MK Ultra. Recently discovered material indicated that Dr. Gesticker continued his research for sleep and amnesia-producing drugs under our Project MK Research, which was the successor program to MK Ultra, if you're asking if it was still going, through July 1967 at Georgetown University Hospital.
I do know, I forgot his name, but there was a gentleman who worked with the OSS, and then he was with the CIA, and then I think he left and came back, and he did a bunch of crazy shit. He's
John Von
it might have been him. He got real famous for he was overseas on a mission, and he was in a town and an old man was walking down the street and he was whistling a tune, and then he just like went over to him and just started like fucking him up and like revealed that it wasn't an old man, it was a young man who was part of like who was a spy, and then he fucking killed him, and the town was like, they thought it was an old man because like he had been around for a while. They're like, this old man has been here, he's so sweet, and then it's not. And then after that he got promoted into like the CIA to head like MK Ultra type shit, and he was one of the big people that led experimentation with LSD, and his story is fucking crazy, and I'm gonna try and find it and send it to you guys because we might want to do a show on it. But essentially he did things that are crazy, kind of like he had like friends so he had friends that he was swingers with his girl, and one night they were hanging out, and he didn't tell him, he just gave him LSD and drugged him, and just to see what would happen, because he was doing research. So he would just drug people and see what would happen, whether it was clinical or not. He was just fucking drugging people with LSD. So he drugged them, and they hung out, they did their thing, and the next day they called him and asked him about it. He was just like, nah, I don't know what happened. And then they were just like, all right, whatever. We still get together for a barbecue. Like, they didn't think anything of it. They're just like, whatever, we got drugged. Like, the 70s was fucking crazy when they were doing this shit. The CIA, the type of things they were doing, it was clandestine, but also you're like, really? Like, you were just fucking
They're
doing
still
whatever,
human.
huh?
They're still human.
Are.
And there you have it.
Like, I don't know about y'all, but I don't know anybody who works for my local water supply.
Me neither.
I used to back in Buffalo. His name was Ducky.
I was gonna say, yeah, I know people who actually work for the water supply, but what do they really do on the daily, right?
Ducky cleans out shit from water wells.
Nice.
Oh.
And then you run into
Does he get paid well though?
He also puts fluoride and LSD in the water.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
3 drops to 2 drops. That's the sweet zone, baby.
Rolls up to the function like, I'm about to fucking dose this whole town, dude.
Yeah, right?
I got that tap water, bro.
Remind me again why we never went to Buffalo?
What was the question?
No, I was talking to Jasmine.
She over there watching TikTok instead of being on the show.
That was not even me. That was him.
Oh, okay.
See,
the host is watching
you
TikTok.
don't even know.
I was checking a message.
You're
okay?
a fucking liar. A message that on TikTok?
Message. It wasn't on TikTok. It was Facebook, damn
exactly. You went
What's
to watch the video.
What's the difference? I appreciate you having the accountability to give yourself L sounds, though.
Yeah, I gotta take those losses, you know.
Accountability. We can talk about that and people who lack it, but never mind. We're getting off topic.
We've been off topic for hours, my friend.
I mean, we've been dancing around it as good as you could. Like, we're talking about fire, and the best you can do when you're talking about fire is dance around it. Like, what do you not know? There's not much to talk about.
Right.
It goes everywhere.
It's supposed to go everywhere anyway.
We could tangent off onto Stranger Things, and it's a weird fucking. I don't know. I don't know what that show was trying to do. I feel like it was an original show, and then it got agenda-sized.
What would be the agenda?
General female empowerment at the sake of male character development, despite the fact that you can do both.
I wouldn't know because I never watched the show. But my girlfriend showed it to me.
Oh shit, I forgot to tell you, Talon. We have somebody here who is on your level with not watching anything.
I feel sorry for you, bro. They're gonna.
I know I'm so uncultured.
However, Darby has
I'm gonna tell you
issues.
right
He is
now, bro.
only
It doesn't matter
21.
how much shit
No,
you
he's
watch.
young.
You now forever don't watch shit. You could, at the end of the day, actually have seen and know more than them.
Tyler's never seen shit.
Fuck you, you non-water
And
drinker.
his excuses, his parents never let him watch it.
Slytherin.
And he's fucking 31 years old.
And mommy won't let me watch that.
They still don't let him watch it.
See what I mean?
No. Darby has a legit excuse.
No. Fuck
Yeah,
this. Don't
he's
even
young.
listen to them.
21, nigga.
Watch. Just hang around, Darby.
You're 31, Talon.
You'll see, Darby. You'll see. It doesn't matter how you grew up. It doesn't matter nothing. You didn't see this. Are you fucking retarded? That's down the road for you somewhere.
Hey, that's my dehydrated cousin you're talking to. I got you, Jazzy.
Listen, I'm not dehydrated.
What? You're always dehydrated. We know if there's anything we know is a constant on this earth, it's that you're dehydrated.
Bullshit.
And that Bob Saget did some shit with